Back for the penultimate session, and this is going to be an interesting one for all you LPG lovers. Andre Pimentel is joining me today, and Andre and I sat down 3 or 4 years ago, and Andre convinced me that the LPG industry was about 10 years behind everybody else when it came to digitalisation. And we really needed to do something about it. So this is why we invite Andre to tell us the latest in what's going on in the digital world. And Alfred, I think you've got some slides for Andre, and I will simply say, Andre Pimentel, Anova, over to you.
Maybe, thank you very much. Indeed, it was a few years ago that we got together and start pushing as much as we can into the digitization concept within the industry. And I think we did great, to be honest, but I think also there is still a lot to be done. And I can share today a couple of examples and cases that we have done. So let me just start by thanking the World LPG Association and the Petroleum Institute of East Africa for the opportunity to present in this workshop and this webinar, and to discuss how important it is innovation in LPG, and how this would actually showing the technology advancements and how it will provide more access to LPG or bring more efficiency. Next slide, please. So very briefly, at Anova, we believe in a safe, clean and efficient world. This is to give you a little bit of overview of what we believe as at Anova, where the industrial resources are always accessible anytime, anywhere. Anova, we as a company, we are committed to making life easier for the LPG distributors to better serve their customers, improving the safety, which is obviously paramount for us, but also to increase the efficiency in their operations. Next slide, please. Today, we know that today companies are spending roughly around 30% more than what they need. This estimation comes from the analysis that we have made with our customers' overhead and deliveries. One slide before, please. Sorry, still on the 30%. Thank you. So this estimation comes from the analysis that we do with our customers, the overhead and deliveries, and these excess costs that we are roughly pointing at 30% includes costs like truck maintenance, driver salary, or gas for extra and unnecessary deliveries. All of these added up will mean that you will have less efficiency, therefore you can serve less customers, cutting down the LPGSS. So again, it's crucial to turn a little bit to transform this excess costs that we are seeing today into an opportunity for other LPG and customers. Next slide, please. Typically, technology adoption is key to remaining competitive behind the operating costs. And when we are looking to the costs that we just look, we know that costs are a primary driver for implementing or driving innovation. So people are always looking into cutting costs. But benefits of digitization in LPG industry are definitely not limited to cutting costs alone. So typically companies that are introducing digitalization, IoT into their operations, they can see that they can have their employees kept safer. So they can have several solutions that will monitor, for instance, drivers, that will provide them data before they go to audit something. So this provides safety into the employers. Also, drivers typically will drive shorter routes and fewer kilometers. It will prevent stockouts and runouts with real-time measurements. So you'll be able to see live what's happening with your inventory in the tanks that you own. And typically, these kind of solutions allow you to digitally engage with your customers through a website or through a mobile application, which ultimately it's providing a better customer experience, which it's invaluable. And providing a better customer experience to your end customer and having them from end to end, from the order until they receive, until how they pay, how you get back to them, how they feel that you are supporting them. This experience, it's invaluable for your customers. And we have seen very good progress in the LPG industry, but still a lot of room for improvement. And this is This is great. And what I would like to all of you is for you to think how many activities in your business could be improved to be more efficient. And let's just consider on the routes and on the logistics, and how many zero liter deliveries, or how many gas runouts. Talking of tanks, bulk tanks, for instance, how many 0 liter deliveries or gas runouts do your customers experience? So, how much pain to your or not so great experience could you would have avoided to your customers? And so those are the kind of questions that we can understand, and are very valuable. And ultimately, data it's fundamental to improve wherever the process is you are focusing on, either serving the customers, are they getting order for cash, logistics and transportation or distribution, or the full end-to-end customer journey. So it's imperative that you have ways to have all the data as fast as possible, near real time, so that you can make better informed decisions. Next slide, please. So when we look into data, typically IoT or the Internet of Things has the devices that provide the data that will revolutionize the businesses markets and present themselves to the customers. This is the reason why more or less 3/4 of companies today are making IoT investments, and this is just not across LPG industry. This is globally. But when we look into the LPG industry, we have seen in the last few years a increasing demand on digitalization, on IoT, for truck maintenances, fleet management, tank monitors, smart meters. All of those things will provide you more information, more data, so that you can actually get better decisions. And nearly half of IoT, nearly half of the customers say that IoT will be the most important technology for cutting costs. And it's not one or it's the most important technology for cutting costs. This is what we are seeing today. LPG companies are innovating rapidly, so it is going to become much more important for companies to digitize their operations to remain competitive. If that means that this means that you need to get IoT and digitization within your distribution network up and running today, not on the road, not next year, now. And if you don't innovate, if you don't digitalize, your competition will digitalize for you. And I believe the last 12 months worldwide have been a very great evidence of how digitization can make or break some businesses. And well, all in all, we believe that the digitization and digital transformation has been a great accomplishment. And now I would like to kind of describe a case study. Next slide, please. I would like to present Thank you. I would like to present a case study on digitization in LPG with Sunrise Cooperative. So we presented this a couple of weeks ago on the LPG Talks Live, and I want to highlight, because I think this is a fantastic view of how digitization can improve and can provide more LPG access to the LPG industry. Next slide, please. So first, let me provide a little background on Sunrise. So Sunrise Cooperative, it's an energy cooperative based in Ohio, in the United States, and they serve their farming community through innovative energy services and solutions. They have about 13,000 customer sites for LPG alone, and they are delivering around 45 million liters per year. They also deliver petroleum, having delivered in the last year around 87 million liters. Sunrise employs 63 employees and runs 19 LPG bobtails and 13 petroleum tank wagons on their operations. Next slide, please. Before moving into the results, I think it's very helpful to describe the phases that Sunrise worked throughout with Bergqvist and Anova. So Sunrise worked with Bergqvist. Bergqvist is an Anova partner based out of the United States. And so Sunrise worked with Bergqvist that did not just send remote tank monitors and walked away. So actually, Bergqvist helped Sunrise through all of these stages to ensure that they got the maximum benefit of tank monitoring. And this all started back in 2015. So in 2015, there was the first assessment to their delivery data. So Anova Transform spent a lot of time trying to understand historical performance to be able to quantify into a multi-year business plan to achieve savings. Sunrise learned exactly which account they should put a tank monitor on to get the highest return on investment. With the initial deployment of the first units, Sunrise was walked through on the process of integrating all their data into their back office operations. So it was very important to be able to have into their own systems all of the data to make better informed decisions or business decisions. And so having the units on the field and the data are integrated into back office, it was now time for a key step in the process, which is embrace the change. It's the culture, it's the change management activities that Sunrise is needed to undergo in their business to deliver the multi-year plan that was developed in conjunction a few years before that. This was a lot about creating the culture of trust the monitor data. This was about to embrace the change. You can make a huge investment, but this step is so crucial that after the inventory, after the tank monitors are deployed, how are you going to use the data? How are you going to improve this? And Bergqvist and Anova guided Sunrise cooperative throughout this process. So in Sunrise's own words, what they like most about Anova Transform is its ability to show how well they are doing in each of their locations and compare the performance in each location against one another. So this is Sunrise's own words. As you can see by each step, once the value of the tank monitoring was established and they saw the efficiency gains, they started to really scale it up. They started small, they embraced the change, and they measured the outcomes, and then they iterated on the process. And this will make them grow year after year and realize on the benefits of having IoT, in this case, tank monitors, working for their business. So Sunrise Cooperative has driven some incredible results so far that we can see in the next slide, please. So typically, what we are seeing on the left side, it's the average field. So in 2016, the average field on an LPG tank was 39%. So from those 39%, if you look into the yellow part of the bar, it's the review fields that should have been a little bit higher. The green are the best case fields, so those that are between 45% and 60%, which is kind of the optimal space, because above 60% the average field, you actually are in risk of running out the customer, and below 45, it's actually an inefficient delivery, being the maximum inefficiency when you go to a customer and you don't need to deliver anything to the customer, which is the purged field, the 5% in black. So after the first years, between 2016, where they have 39% average field, actually in 2020, they achieved a 57 average field after putting Anova and Bergqvist working on their telemetry data. And so this means a 15% increase in average field. And if you look into the charts, this was mostly achieved by reducing the black, the purge fields, the inefficient fields, and the refill fields a lot. And so this is when you start getting a lot of efficiencies from the process on the delivery side, and you can start not wasting money and reinvest it to serve other customers, providing more LPG access to other customers. Next slide, please. So regarding the equipment, Anova Transform was the process throughout. It is a business intelligence that will help you make the decisions. But then on the tanks, we have the Anova 415 and the Anova 471, and those can go into LPG tanks, fuels, lubricants tanks, auto changeovers for cylinders, small cylinders, automated meter reading for smart meters, and all of those devices can connect into an IoT platform and the mobile application. And this is how Anova gathers with the state of the art in terms of technology. Any of these devices will last 15 years with one call per day. With one data cent per day, it will last 15 years on the field. So it's a huge return on investment potential. Next slide, please. But when those connect, they connect to a platform, and on that platform we have the software for you, where you can manage monitors, or customize reports, set up and have specific alarms for different customer types. For instance, you have a mobile application for your field operations team for them to install and uninstall the units. You have integrations with your business, and last but not least, we have a mobile application for your end customer. So what this means is that with this solution, full end-to-end solution, you can provide a mobile application to your end customer, where they can see their level tank, of how much gas they still have left on the tank, the forecasting of when it can run out. You can send them messages, or push notifications to warn them, and they can actually order from within the app, and you can receive an order request from a customer. So this is the most actionable tank analytics software that is available for those products. Next slide, please. And so with this, the industrial supply chain is rapidly digitizing. There are a lot of untapped opportunities that for LPG distributors, for LPG distributors that will unlock better economics and improved customer experience. And remember, it is imperative that you look into this as an end-to-end solution while serving the customer to provide them a better customer experience. Remote monitoring and IoT will drive significant cost reduction, but it's much more. It's about sustainability, just as we discussed, better service. It's invaluable how better service can actually impact your customers. It's about a higher quality and more safe and proven safety for their customers. And so, all in all, I think the biggest message I want to say is that we can leverage the power of data and IoT to optimize your operations and extend LPG access, especially in regions where we definitely need to extend LPG access to more population. Next slide, please. Last but not least, I would like to invite you. So this business case, this case study that I presented, is actually going to be part of the update of the World LPG Association IoT report that is available at WLPGA.org. And so this report was made last year, 2 years ago. It was updated last year, and it will be updated this year again with new case studies. So two things. I would like you to, if you are interested on the topic, to download the report, go through it, reach out to David or me if you have any questions. And if you have any business case, or if you like to build a business case to be included in this report, we will be more than available to hear our thoughts and to work with you through making it happen. And with this, I think I conclude the presentation. Next slide, please. Next. So do get in touch if you have any questions, if you need anything, if you need any information, or just advice, or just a good conversation about IoT. My email is andre.pimentel@anova.com, and my phone number was on the presentation, but do reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks very much. Yeah, thanks very much, Andre. I think Alfred was a little bit quick taking off your contact details there, but not to worry. We can if anybody has any need to contact Andre, just contact us or Andre himself directly, and we'll put you in touch. Andre, thanks very much again for that. I've listened to your presentation several times, and I still get excited when I look at the opportunities for IoT and the LPG business. And I think we're still lagging behind, but maybe we're catching up a little bit. But just to repeat, if anybody has any case studies that they'd like to share, then please send them through, because we will certainly include it as we update the IoT report this year. Now, I'm just tic-tacking separately with Elizabeth Muchiri. Elizabeth is with the Global LPG Partnership, and she's actually planned to present this last session today, but we are already 20 minutes over time. So while Andre was talking, not all the time, I've been chatting with the organizers, and what we're going to do, we're going to come back tomorrow for an hour at 11 o'clock in the morning, Kenya time. And it will be just myself and Elizabeth. And we'll be talking about a bunch of issues, but it will give anybody else who's been listening over the last few hours or so, if they have any topics or questions that they would like to ask, then that will be an opportunity to pick them up tomorrow. And we will be sending out details for logging in for that session tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So with that, we will draw this this summit to a close. So Andre, thank you so much again.
My pleasure.
Let me now click on the program, and we will skip. And I think we should have a session that says summing up or wrapping up, or maybe I can get some help in a minute from Alfred when he comes back. But we'll be drawing this to a conclusion.
That's lessons from the coronavirus, or are you going to take that up tomorrow?
No, well, the last session is we'll take that up tomorrow, Wenjiku. The last session is the link between LPG and health. Yeah, and summary and close. So I've got a message that we will run this for 1 hour tomorrow, and it'll be a catch-all session. We can talk about all sorts of things that come out of today, and I'd also like to spend a little bit of time talking about our Good Industry Practice program, which Elizabeth has in the past had discussions with me about as well. Plus, we'll be asking Elizabeth some questions too. So can we now draw the summit to a close? And I'll hand over to you, Anjiku, to do that. And then you have a better idea as to how we're going to organize the event tomorrow for 1 hour. So perhaps you can just explain to everybody how they can contact the relevant link or get access to the relevant link so that we can log on tomorrow morning, your time.
Right. Yeah. Right. Thank you. Thank you, David. And thank you, Andre, for bringing us to a close of the session. It's been such a long day. I'm amazed that we still have 46 people on call, down from 73, down from 106. So fantastic. I think the discussions today have really elicited some freshness and some new impetus on what needs to be done going forward, and especially with regard to the last mile. And the fact that the game has shifted from the suppliers, distributors, the retailers, to the consumer. And everything is going to revolve around what it is that the consumer is now demanding for ease of access, for ease of affordability, for ease of availability. And especially now because I think COVID has pushed us to do things differently. What we should have done or are thinking we will do in the next 5 years, we are doing them now, including having this virtual platform where we can actually speak to each other from across the world. And there's nothing that is taken away from us just because we can't physically meet. And I think that really just kind of defines LPG. You don't see it. It's just there working some magic, improving our lives and livelihoods. And it has really become the answer, especially to sub-Saharan African perennial problems of, health, of sustained afforestation, of entrepreneurship, in terms of employment and wealth creation, in terms of gender equality, in terms of education. It can never be wished away. And I think we have the power through these platforms to ensure that the narrative about LPG being a fossil fuel actually shifts to LPG being really the cleaner, modern fuel technology that is referred to, I think, in the SDG goal number 7, and also that doesn't compete with electricity, but competes with other dirtier fuels, which really are not an option for us in the 21st century. So really, what can I say, encouraging even in terms of the financiers' shift from packaging LPG as a non-renewable. I think we're looking at LPG as a low carbon, cleaner fuel that, as I said, resolves a number of issues. And I think now we're also moving away from just asking government to formulate policy in liaison with the industry association, but asking government to include LPG in the national energy planning. And I think that came off from Harriet, which is extremely, interesting. And we have done that in Kenya, and it's working very positively. And I think the East African countries can tap a lot from what it is that other countries are also doing in terms of other innovations or use of applications, including generation of electricity using LPG. So I'm going to hand over the microphone to my colleague Alfred, because he's the techie on the deck, so that then he can advise us on how we are going to join the 1 hour session tomorrow. I have a feeling that it will evolve from 1 hour to something else. We just never have enough time, David. We thought that by now people would be bored and tired and thinking, can we close up? Can we close up? Now we are the ones saying we really do need to wrap up, because it really has been a long day. So Alfred, if you're there, do you want to just give an advisory for those who are present on how they're going to join the link tomorrow? And then we're going to also just blast that out on email to the other participants who had either registered or the total 106 who showed up earlier today. So over to you, Alfred, and thank you very much, David, as usual. Always a pleasure. And also Andrea and the participants who are on call right now. So Alfred, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for attending today's session. It was quite pleasant and seamless for all the sessions, in spite of the few technical hitches. For tomorrow's session, since we all have your emails and your contacts already, we're going to send you